There are plenty of signs and traits that you might be an INTJ out there, but some of them can be confusing because they overlap with other personality types and may or may not always apply. This video is packed with anecdotes. I'm not here to discuss whether you do or do not do these behaviors because everyone does them at a certain extent or at some point in their lives. Recurring patterns in your life are what we're searching for here. So are you doing these things or not doing these things over the course of your life? If you are doing these things I'm talking about in this video, you might not be an INTJ. In today's video, I'm talking about the top 5 signs you are not an INTJ and how to tell the difference. Let's get into it. Welcome to Success for Breakfast, where I'm serving up brain food made simple. Hit that subscribe button to get daily videos created to give you the tools to level up your life. Starting us off in the number 5 reason you might not be an INTJ is that you consume more for pleasure than for purpose. Okay, based on internet assumptions of INTJs, because they're introverts, I'm going to say something that might surprise you. INTJs don't like reading solely for the sake of reading. Now, before you start blowing up the comments section on this one, let me explain. They are obsessed with studying certain topics that are related to a larger vision or goal that they're attempting to realize. Yes, they read and listen to audiobooks and podcasts. They eat food and buy goods, but all of this consumption is based on a certain purpose that is related to something else, to achieve an objective. Either that, or they're hoarding that information for triangulation purposes since they know they'll need it in the future. Let's dissect something for a moment real quick. If an INFJ says, "I love reading," for example, they are using their introverted thinking and extroverted feeling functions. It's about the inside world of emotion, which they like. Reading is one of their favorite pastimes since it allows them to immerse themselves in this sensory experience and feeds their introverted intuition. Let's hear the INTJ version of that statement, "I love to read." They use it in terms of, I love to read when I know the answer I'm looking for is in the content. It's goal-oriented. It's reading for a purpose, not just for pleasure. Even though INTJs do get pleasure by gaining knowledge and obtaining goals. Again, INTJs can do anything they want, including consuming for pleasure, if they put their minds to it. However, reading, completing puzzles, and all those traditional introverted hobbies, if you consume for pleasure rather than purpose, if you're doing it more for your personal fun than for a specific goal, you're probably not an INTJ. Number 4 on today's list of signs you are not an INTJ is you despise planning. These aren't INTJ attributes at all if you prefer to live life on your own terms and go with the flow. So what is it about schedules that INTJs find so appealing? Do they have a thing for little notebooks or planners? Maybe, but probably not. The focus of an INTJ is to maximize efficiency. Even if they don't plan on actual calendars, they follow habit systems because that's how they function best. An INTJ's sequence of the day, week, and month are all quite structured at a high level. They plan the course of the system to accomplish their goals of that notion in the simplest and most efficient method feasible using planning within an idea or concept. This is why when someone says, "Oh, you should do something this way," an INTJ would probably say, "Actually, if I do it this way, it'll probably be quicker, faster, and more efficient for us." INTJs prefer to go against the grain. That's why they're always looking for the simplest route to get to the final goal. I've heard other INTJs say things like, "I'm the world's most lazy, non-lazy person," and I felt that on a whole level. INTJs on a whole want to interact with the sensory world as little as possible. Anything they can do to work less and be more efficient while still achieving the exact vision they want at the end of the day is well worth their time to mentally organize. INTJs are looking for the quickest and most fruitful option. The third reason you might not be an INTJ is your lack of ability to be spontaneous and have fun. INTJs have processes that work, so why deviate from them unless there's a compelling reason to do so? They are also weighing every option based on its ramifications and interactions with literally every other action by default. This isn't something they've chosen to do. Their mental wiring simply won't allow them to miss every possible ripple effect of every action taken or not taken. This only adds to the significance of weighing the processes. They're just not that much fun when left to their devices to make decisions or take an action. If you've gotten some value from this video so far, please show your appreciation and hit that like button. That's going to signal YouTube that you think other people could benefit from this video too. The number 2 reason on today's list of signs you are not an INTJ is it's difficult for you to complete tasks. There is hardly ever a period in an INTJ's life when they are bored or unsure of what their next step should be in any area. Sure, we've all been down in the dumps at times in our lives, and we've all been trying to pull things together for ourselves, of course. INTJs, on the other hand, are constantly pinging to the future, to the thing they need to be doing, striving towards, and seeing where they want to go. That's why they spend so much time in their heads rather than on planet Earth, where everyone else is. Also, their focus isn't drawn away from a fresh, potentially better concept that they might wish to pursue. Their entire brain attention is sequencing down a pattern of how to get themselves there when their vision is fixated on a future goal that wants to achieve it. It could take days, weeks, months, or even years to get there. INTJs enjoy watching their vision come to fruition and their master plan come together. Putting all of the pieces together based on what they observe is essentially the same as breathing for INTJs. They can simply refer to it as a peculiar method of creating INTJ art. Topping our list today, and the number 1 reason you might not be an INTJ, is that you enjoy trying new things. Everyone is going to get big mad at this point because that is the truth. INTJs want everything to fit inside their small, introverted, and judgment box of sameness. This box houses connected concepts and their subsequent actions, which are founded on logic and reasoning. Doing something unnecessarily new just for the sake of the physical or mental experience of simply doing it now means INTJs simply have to try to fit it into their interconnected box of introverted intuition understanding. So they'll have to find a way to cram it in there, which shouldn't be an issue for most people because not everyone is an INTJ. Typically, they don't want to spend their time and effort if there is no logical purpose to doing something. INTJs are also masters of perspective on this subject. They may be metaphorically turning the same thing 100 different ways in their minds and each time seeing something fresh because of a different perspective. However, they're still staring at the same problem. So while they're having a blast flipping around that tiny item in their introverted judging box and gazing at it from 100 various ways, the rest of the world is getting bored and wants to move on to the next new actual thing. That's because a lot of people are more interested in the sensory or outer world. INTJs can't get bored since they can look at the same things in so many different ways and discover new connections and patterns depending on how they move them. On a deep level, it's quite rewarding. INTJs are problem solvers who are constantly seeking new methods to improve systems and procedures. They have an incredible ability to spot places for improvement, whether at work, at home, or in themselves. INTJs are frequently intelligent and they value logical reasoning and problem solving. They approach life by delving into the theory behind what they see, and they are usually focused internally on their own in-depth analysis of the world around them. INTJs are drawn to logical procedures and struggle to cope with the unpredictability of others' emotions. They are usually independent and selective in their relationships, preferring to associate with those that intellectually challenge them. Whether or not you're an INTJ, embrace who you are. What did you think of these signs that you are not an INTJ? Leave a comment and let me know. You've got this, now go get it done. Grab yourself some more brain food to help you level up your life and click on one of the videos on your screen right now.